Hi everyone, this is Kim Snyder from Train and Simple, and what we're going to do today is our first ever Train and Simple screencast. And what I'm going to do on these screencasts is I'm going to pick a topic from the API part section of the Infusionsoft forums, and I'm just going to grab something that seems, fairly easy within the realm of something that a beginner could be expected to learn and tackle pretty quickly after taking our course or learning the API on their own, and just show you how it's done. Now, I thought about this is our first one, so bear with me. Number one, I've been out riding horses all day, so I didn't dress for this, or this is going to be you looking over my shoulder late at night, kind of watching how I do this. I got some music playing in the background, and we're just going to crank this out. I didn't prepare anything. I really wanted you to see kind of the process that someone who's not a super programmer would go through to work through one of these problems. So if you're gonna, I'm not the world's fastest typist. I'm not the world's greatest coder. Although I get there in the end. But what I want you to see is what this would look like when you've learned the API and you've learned a little tiny bit of PHP and how you would actually apply this in your own business. So literally, you're going to be looking over my shoulder. So I hope that's okay. It means, just so you know, that this is going to be longer than if I had prepared everything in advance and was just bopping right through. But I think this is going to be more valuable for you, at least in the beginning. And if not, hopefully what you'll do is you'll give me feedback at either Kim, use my Kim at kimsnyder.com email address, Kim at kimsnyder.com, and then let me know whether you like them long or short, you'd like more detail, less detail, and I will start to tailor them to whatever you guys think. So hopefully you'll find this helpful. So here's the one that we're going to tackle first. This was posted in June 23rd, so a couple days ago, and then added to. So the first question is, I want to get the email status value through API. Please let me know how I can get it. Meaning, so this person is saying, how can I find out if someone is opted in or not? And so we have an answer here about the API doc. So let me just show you this real quick. Okay. So one of the things that you'll use a lot, if you don't know where it is already, in the developer section of the help area in Infusionsoft, you have two things. One is the API services and methods, and the other is the table documentation. So API services and methods, these are the kind of the templates, if you will, that you can use to get things done. So for example, actually I think this is I closed it, but I believe this is in the email service, because it has to do with email. So if I click on email service, you can see all the things I can do related to email using the API, add a template, attach an email, get opt status, opt in, opt out, etc. So and then when I go to this get opt status, for example, then it has a bunch of technical stuff. The thing that we're going to use the most is this PHP ISDK example or sample, and I'll show you that in a bit. But that's what this means here. Okay, so Pav, who's wonderfully helpful in the forums, has given this link, and then someone else says, the first guy said, how do I get the email opt-in status? The second person says, how can I actually update that status using the API? So we're going to tackle both. We're going to do both. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I will tell you, I said I'm going to start from scratch and I didn't prepare anything. I actually started to do this before I realized that the best way to do it would be from scratch. So I didn't get very far, though. So the first thing I did is I created this little form and uploaded it to my server. So the form is called testform2.html, and you can see that now what this form does, okay, is it's going to post to a script called test2.php. Eventually, when we get to that far, okay. Oh, I better make this bigger, way bigger, so you guys can see this. Sorry. Here we go. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so here we go. So it's going to post to test2.php, and meaning it's going to, by post, it means it's going to take the data that is submitted from the form, which in this case is first name, email, an opt-in checkbox, and it's going to send it to this script that we're going to write, test2.php. And I'm going to pause this for a second so I can talk to one of my programmers here on Skype, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. Real time. Oops, that is not what I want to show you. Okay. So back to our form. Now I have already uploaded this to our server, so let me show you that. Get rid of this, and where I've uploaded it is mysnyder.com. What did I say? Scripts. I always do all of my stuff in a scripts folder, test2.html, and there should be just a where did I hang on? Oh, testform2.html. Try that again. Testform. There. Okay. So here's our little form. First name, email, opt me in, test. And right now, it doesn't really do anything. Okay, because what we need to do is we need to take the script that it posts to, which is test2.php, and we need to make it do something. So, as you can see, these are a couple little files. Let me see if you guys can see that. I can't make that bigger. That I just keep and reuse over and over again. So test2.php, we'll open this up, make it bigger. So, and we'll probably get rid of all this. This is, I at least when I'm starting a script, I always put this little piece in here, which is basically just says, you know, is it connected to the API or not? That way if something fails, I know that I've got a connection. Eventually I take that out, but that's kind of where I start with all my scripts. So when I'm doing stuff like this, I just leave it in there. Okay, so what we want to do is, the other thing is, it's a lot of times when you're not, you know, really a great programmer, you don't program for a living, so you kind of forget how to do things, right? It's like a foreign language that you don't speak all the time. So it's always nice to start from something like this, just because it kind of joggles your memory about how to do things or how to write things, or you know, you can repurpose. So you know, I rarely will open just a blank sheet and start writing. Instead, I will typically open something that I know is sort of even roughly similar and start from there. So Okay, so let's talk about what do we want our form to do. So if we go back to our form, the first question was, so I think what we'll do first is we'll have it, we'll have it create a new contact record, and and opt them in, and then we'll go back and then we'll check the status. Okay, so we'll do the last question first and then do that. So okay, so let's get going here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna delete all this and go like this. Okay. No, I'm not. Start again. Okay. Now, one of the things that that I do, and you will do, is because I'm not, I haven't been doing this for a really long time. So I print a lot of things as I'm building my little programs or my little scripts. I print because it tells me what's happening. So this first statement is an echo. This is a variable called post, and what this does is basically it grabs the information from the form, right? So here we have, it's the post variable, first name, last name, email. This is old, horse name. We aren't doing horse name. The things on our form were first name, last name, email, but what we need to do is we need to make sure, sorry, actually they were first name, email, and opt-in. So we need to make sure those are spelled the same. First name with a capital F, capital N, email, capital E, and lowercase opt-in. So what we have is first name, we have email, and we have opt-in. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. Now, what is this going to do? All this is going to do is, at this point, okay, is it's just going to echo out, in other words, print on the screen the values in from those fields. That's what these statements do. Okay, I could write these other ways, by the way, without these PHPs in here, but anyway, we're just going to leave that for now. Okay, so that's going to take the values and it's just going to print them so that I can see them. Okay, and then what we're going to do is, oh look, I've already actually got this here. I'm going to move this because you never know when you might need something. Let's see. Oops. I should just be able to do that. Why can't I do? Oh. There we go. So just so you know, so the inside of, so this is how you open PHP, and you don't necessarily have to close it anymore, but this is how you close it. Everything inside of it, it tells is PHP. In this case, because you can mix it in with HTML, I'm doing it multiple times, but I don't have to do that. In fact, let's just do this to make everything less confusing for you and easier for me. I'm just going to take all this mess out. So we're getting rid of these. So what I'm doing is I had it written so that we were opening and closing every statement like this. So PHP happens after this little PHP tag, and also ends with a semicolon, just so that you know. And the reason I was going to tell you that was to say that this is a comment. So 2 slashes is a comment. The other way you can write multi-line comments is like this. It starts with slash, and then like this, and then the opposite of that. Oops, there. That's a comment too. All right, so keep going. So what I have here is, I'm going to start this from scratch. This add contact. All right, so what we're going to do, first thing we want to do, okay, is we want to add the contact to Infusionsoft. Alright, and we're going to do that like this. We're going to go to the Infusionsoft documentation, and I'm going to go to the contact service because that deals with a contact, and I'm going to look for add with dupe check, okay, which means that it's going to add it. It's going to first check and see if the contact exists. If it doesn't, it's going to add it. If it does, it'll just update the existing contact. And I'm going to go down here to this PHP ISDK sample, which I already have that in my directory, so I can use it. So now the first thing is in the samples they have alright, in PHP, just so you know, $sign is a variable. So this is a variable name, app. I actually name mine my app. Probably shouldn't because I always have to change them, and when I forget I get an error. But anyway, so my app, so that'll make that work. And then we have this method, add with dupe check, and what we're doing here is this is what we are adding, okay, and this is, let me just show you, okay, so you can see data, so an array of the data for this new contact record, okay, so that's what we're going to add, and then how we're going to check whether it's a duplicate. There's different options, just email and name, email, name and company, etc. So so that's what's going in here. Now I'm going to change this up a little bit from the example, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign these to a variable. Nah, we'll just make it simple. Sorry, we'll just make it simple for really easy for you guys to understand. So what we're going to do is, what I am going to do is assign these to a variable though. Alright, so like this, because this will make it more readable. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say first equals this post first name, and I'm going to say email. Oops. Told you I'm not a very good typer. Is this post variable like this, and then I'm going to make this opt-in another one like this. Alright, like that. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to put them in place of this. So what it's saying is, in this array, first name is going to be set to, and we aren't going to set it to test, we're going to set it to whatever is in the variable called first. We are going to set email, okay, to not this but this, and we are going to add one more, which is we are going to set okay, that's it actually for now, because, and the reason we're doing this, we can only do these two because the opt-in status is not in the contact record, I don't think. Now, so I told you we're doing this live as we go. This is how you do it. Eventually you learn all these things, but it's a lot to remember. So what you do is, I need to know which table is that opt-in status in. Is it in the contact table? Because that's the one that add contact is going to be talking to. So this, let me go back so you guys can see what I just did. Okay, make this bigger. So here's a list of all the tables, okay, that I have available to me, and the one that I'm working with right now is the contact table, But I'm just going to go look through here and see if there's anything obvious here about emails and status. So I think it is actually probably in here. So maybe I can update it right here. Contact. So this is going to tell me all the fields in the contact table. And I am looking for there's the email address, groups, that's all their tags, job title, owner ID. Okay, so it's not here, which means that I'm going to have to update that in a separate step. Okay, so all right, so back to this. So the first thing that we can do, all we're going to do here is we're going to add their first name and email to Infusionsoft if it doesn't exist already. And we are going to check just by email to begin with. And that's it. And then we'll go back and we'll do more. So let's just make sure that this all works before we do the next step. Okay? So I'm going to save that, and that's going to go to the server test2.php, and who knows, if we get lucky, maybe this will work straight out of the gate, but doesn't always. Alright, so here's my form, and so we're going to try it. Okay, so I'm going to say Kim, and I'm going to put in my first, it doesn't really matter what I use here, as long as it's not in the database. That doesn't matter because we're not doing anything with it either, but I'm going to say test. Alright, and so what comes back is an error, which means it didn't like something. Now in this case, what it says is it got an unexpected on line 16. Okay, so I got to go back to line 16 and figure out what did it not like on line 16. Oh, that is probably why I had it written that way. Okay, so these let's see, these breaks it did not like. So let me just see here. I think what I can do is see PHP is code, but it also renders HTML, if that makes any sense. So when one of the things that kind of confuses me still is when the HTML has to be inside the PHP and how to get it out. So I think what I can do, but we'll try it, is that I can add a dot here, which means concatenate, and then say put my break in here like this, and then put another. We'll see if that works. So what I'm saying is echo first name, and then after that a break, but that may not work, which may be why I had it written the other way before. So let's just try that. We'll know soon if it worked or not. So if I refresh this, nope. Oh, it did work. Okay. Hello world, yes, it's connected. So let me show you just what happened here. Ooh. Boy, that's not formatted very pretty, is it? But it's okay, we're getting somewhere. So that's like a start. Okay, so what happened is first it says hello world because it's just echoing that string regardless. And then it's saying, okay, if you connect to Infusionsoft properly, then type this. Yes, we're connected. And so because I took all those breaks out. Nope. Okay, that's good. Break. All right. All right. And all right. And then what it did is it echoed out the first name. Okay. So that's that. Kim at with a break, which is the HTML for new line. And then it echoed out the email address, right? And then it echoed out opt-in, which is interesting. So number one, I didn't put this little break here, which is why it followed right behind that. But also interesting that it had this value of CAR. Not really sure what that's about, but we'll figure that out later. I guess I can look at my, how about that? Because that's the value in this little checkbox. So we're going to just say yes. Okay, we're going to change that value. All right, so it did in fact echo out the value in this checkbox. Okay. Interesting. All right, so moving on. So just to confirm now, let's do this. Let's go to Infusionsoft and we'll log into my app like this. And by the way, I hope this isn't like totally boring to you, but this is how I learned as well. Among other things, I learned in a lot of ways, but there have been a couple people, Robert Calisi and some the other really good Infusionsoft ICC developers who, as I would just sit and look over their shoulder the way that you're looking over mine, and not all of it. I didn't get all of it, but the more I watched, the more I got. So I think this is pretty useful. So what I'm going to do now is let's just see if I say find a contact and I say Kim. Let's see if I'm in there. And probably what we need to do is go to the end. Alright, and there. This is the one that we just created right here. So here's Kim +1 at kimsnyder.com, created on 6/25/2013. So it did, in fact, put that into Infusionsoft with our add with dupe check method. And let's just look at the opt-in status, and you'll notice that it's currently set to non-marketable. Okay, so we're making progress. All right, so the next thing that we want to do, this is the actual question that was asked, is we want to set that opt-in status to marketable. So the way that we're going to do that, now that we have this much working, oops, heck, I didn't want that, I want that, is now let's go to the, again, services and methods. And this time, instead of the contact service, we're going to go to the email service. And we're going to find opt-in. Okay, perfect. And we're going to copy that and paste it in here. And we're going to use that little snippet. Okay, by the way, when you're first starting out, half of programming really is just it's not plagiarizing, but it's like swiping and modifying. That's the best way to learn, I found. So, okay, so we've got this now. This method is called the opt-in method, and what it wants here is subscriber email. Well, we don't have a variable called subscriber email. We have this one. So this is what it uses to find the value or find the record that it's going to opt in, and this is the little note that says, you know, how did they request? How did they request being opted in? All right, they desperately want my stuff. Okay, so now we don't have to have we don't really have to have that result there, but that's fine. We'll leave it. And now I'm going to add one other thing here. Okay, I'm going to go back because what I really want is when this is all done. Let's do this. I'm going to add these here because we're going to need okay, some space between that and this next echo. So the other thing I'm going to add is, while we're at it, let's just go ahead, and so we've opted them in. Now let's get their opt-in status and echo that out so that we can confirm that we have in fact opted them in. So that looks like this. So I'm going to say, I'm going to put that here, and we can leave this the same because it'll just set this variable to something else, but just for fun, I'll change it like this, new result, and gotta make this match my connection name. Alright, opt status, and so again what we want is this email, okay, which remember that this email, this variable email, is being set to whatever the email we put in the email field on the form through the post variable. So using this email address, we want to return the opt-in status. And then what we want to do is we want to print that. So there's a bunch of, or echo it. There's a bunch of different ways to do that. Let's just try this one. If it doesn't work the way I want it to, actually, we should just be able to echo that, right? Because it's not an array, it's just a single value. So let's just try it. That's the other thing you should know, by the way. Don't be afraid to try things. You're not gonna break it, and you never know till you try. So that's the way you learn, is just say, well, let me try that and see if it works. So I'm gonna try echo new result and just see what we get back, if anything. And so I've updated that, I saved it, and what I'm going to do now is go back to my form. Now I need to put, a different record. Well, I don't have to. Let's use the same contact record because we have a dupe check in there. So if I hit opt me in test, what it should do is it should go back, find that same record, and now it should opt it in and tell us that it did, right? So let's see. Yeah, okay, perfect. So here's my, I echoed out the result, right, of the opt-in status, which is 1, meaning we're opted in. So all of that worked. So it said, hello world, yes, we're connected. Here's the post variable first name, here's the post variable email, here's the value. I thought I changed that, but apparently not. That was in that little checkbox, and then I said echo out the opt-in status, 1 meaning true. And so now let's do this. Go back and refresh this record here, and what you see now is I'm opted in. So what we could do, I'm just going to finish this off, right, is let's write a little if statement. So let's say if, so we'll say if, let's see, new result equals 1, then echo. So by the way, one of the things you could do is just copy and paste from up here, which I do a lot because this is like a little if then else statement. In fact, I'll do that just to make it easy, just again to show you guys kind of how I do this a lot, which is by repurposing things that I've already figured out once. So here I'm going to say if new result, which is our new result. Here, let's just do this. If, let's change this name to status, and then that'll make more sense. So if status equals, that's wrong, by the way, equals in PHP sets the variable, and so it's 2 equal signs means like what we think of as equals. So if status is, so I don't know, I think this is just a 1. We can try that, or I don't think it's a string 1, but I can try that too. We'll try it, see what happens. Then echo contact is opted in. Otherwise, echo contact is not opted in. Let's try that. So what this says is if their status is 1, which we may have to change this, then just print this, otherwise print this. So let's save it and let's see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to just start again. I'm going to just do a whole new, we'll go back to the form. Alright, and so we'll make this Kim2. And I'm going to grab that so I can find it better. Alright, we're going to opt her in. We're going to say test. Alright, and you can see here, contact is opted in, right? Because we grabbed that opt-in status and had it echo back that the contact is opted in. And I'll just confirm that for you. Go to here, search for that contact. No, come on, find that contact. It's going to be at the end here somewhere. Okay, so Kim2 is here. And it is in fact opted in. So we have done everything that was in this question. Oops, which is here. How do you get the opt-in status? We've done that, and we did it with the opt status right here. And then the other question was, how do you set the opt-in status? This is opt-in. There's also opt-out, but we used opt-in, and that's it. So that's our first screencast and our first little script, so that you can see how that all worked. So I'm going to post this actually in response to that question. And if you guys have any comments, questions, feedback, please, I'd love to hear it. Just let me know. You can also, by the way, I will post this on our website at trainandsimple.com, and to have a, keep tuning in if you like this at trainandsimple.com, because I plan on doing hopefully as many of these as I can possibly crank out. So visit the website, look for screencasts. Eventually I'll probably put up an RSS feed so that you guys can keep up with it. But let me know how you like them. Let me know what else would be useful, and what you liked and didn't like. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Happy coding.